Let me ask you a quick question. What do you see when you look at Tony Chopper? A cute reindeer, a kind doctor, the most huggable character in One Piece? All of that is true, but what if I told you that this exact image of total innocence is the biggest trap Oda has set in the entire series? Because after the Nika twist, one thing became clear to everyone. No devil fruit is just what it says on the label, and Chopper's fruit might be the biggest unresolved secret in the whole story. There's a natural tendency to underestimate what seems simple, and few things seem simpler than the Hito no Mi, a standard human zoan. That's exactly why, after so many clues piling up throughout the series, the community is increasingly convinced that this label hides something much bigger. Today, we're going deep into this. Hidden name, awakening, mythologies from different continents, the real possibilities for this fruit, and a detail from a 2002 SBS that Oda planted with absurd precision. Sit down, it's long but worth every second. Don't forget to smash that like button. It really helps out the channel. Let's start with the basics, but pay close attention. Chopper's fruit is called the Hito no Mi, human fruit, with no model, no extra designation. Sounds simple, but look around. Hito no Mi, model Nika. Hito no Mi, model Daibutsu. Uo no Mi, model Seiryu. Whenever there's a model, there's a specification. Chopper's is the only one in the entire series left hanging, like an incomplete file, a label torn in half. That's not carelessness. Oda doesn't forget to include a model. He didn't include it because it's meant to be revealed later. And there's another piece of this puzzle that stands out. Chopper's full human form doesn't follow the pattern of any other zoan. Most have a pure animal form, a hybrid form, and a humanoid form with visible animal traits. Chopper's full human form? He becomes a normal-sized man, almost perfect with no visible antlers, no reindeer traits. This kind of manifestation has no parallel among standard zoans in the entire series. It's strange, and in One Piece, strange is never without reason. Then you add the fact that the fruit is physically a mushroom, that Drum Kingdom has a legend about a mushroom capable of curing all diseases, that Blackbeard went to that region before Chopper even appeared in the story, and that recent revelations tell us Teach's father was searching for two specific fruits. One we already know, the other remains a mystery. That doesn't feel like coincidence, it feels like planning. When you connect the legendary miracle mushroom, the fruit literally being a mushroom, and Blackbeard's specific interest in that island, it becomes harder and harder to treat these as decorative details from Chopper's introductory arc. Together, they form a structure Oda built from the very beginning of the series, waiting to be revealed. Now comes the piece that recently accelerated everything, and brought this theory back to the center of discussions. In chapter 1177, during the battle at Egghead, Chopper touches one of the giants controlled by Emu, and reverses that being's state with a single touch. No named technique, no flashy transformation, no immediate explanation, just contact, and the giant's consciousness returns. The control breaks. The person trapped inside reappears as if a curse had been lifted. Think about the weight of that. Emu's power over those giants is one of the most disturbing things we've seen in the series, directly tied to the concept of the Othello reversi game, where pieces can be flipped from one side to the other. Emu plays with pawns on the world's board, and those giants were pieces flipped to his side. One touch from Chopper undoes that. How? Why can Chopper specifically do this? There's even a theory suggesting that Emu needs to choose an opponent on the board, another player, and by completely underestimating Chopper, a tiny reindeer with a ridiculous bounty he considered inferior to the giant children of Egghead, he accidentally selected exactly the wrong opponent. But the deeper and more interesting answer isn't in a new game mechanic, it's in the nature of the fruit itself. The theory gaining the most traction is that Chopper's Hito no Mi actually has a hidden model, a forest deity, and that this model has never been revealed because neither Chopper nor anyone around him ever had the means to identify something so specific about what seemed like a simple fruit. And there are some serious mythological candidates. The first, symbolically, is the Shishigami from Princess Mononoke. It represents both life and death simultaneously and has two abilities that align almost perfectly with what we saw in chapter 1177, healing any disease or wound with a touch and expelling curses from a body, restoring natural consciousness. We already know Studio Ghibli films influenced Oda, and he has said so himself. The thematic connection is hard to ignore. The Shishigami is tied to nature spirits in Shintoism, and reindeer like Chopper belong to the servant category in Japanese terminology. Shishigami can even be interpreted as servant god, or more specifically, deer god. The issue is that Shishigami is an original creation by Miyazaki, not a historical mythological figure, so using it directly would be unusual. It fits conceptually but feels more like homage than a literal answer. Historical mythological candidates are stronger. Cernunnos, a Celtic deity, is extremely compelling. A humanoid figure with deer antlers, guardian of the forest, tied to life cycles, regeneration, and natural balance. Look at his depictions and it's almost impossible not to imagine a divine version of Chopper. The idea of restoring balance and understanding the body aligns perfectly with his identity as a doctor, and restoring sanity to someone corrupted by external power fits that symbolism. Also, we just saw the introduction of the mythical Nidhogg fruit, showing Oda has no problem introducing mythological figures that were never mentioned before when the time is right. Pan from Greek mythology is another strong candidate, for a very specific reason beyond appearance. He exists between human and animal, exactly the space Chopper has occupied since his introduction. A reindeer rejected by both humans and animals, belonging fully to neither world. Pan embodies that same identity fracture. He's also tied to extreme mental states, instinct overpowering reason, the wild side of the body, which connects directly to Chopper's original monster point when he lost control completely. Even the word panic comes from Pan. The downside is that Pan is more associated with chaos and impulsiveness, while Chopper is gentle and ethical, but Oda often adapts and reshapes references. Expanding further, Oda clearly isn't limited to one mythology. Joy Boy has roots in Afro-Caribbean myth. Nidhogg is Norse. Nika is still being uncovered, so Chopper's fruit model could come from anywhere. Aranyani in Hinduism is a forest goddess tied to wildlife, healing, and care for animals, especially deer. The Kodama in Japanese folklore are spirits inhabiting trees, representing the sacredness of nature. And even outside Eurasia in Brazilian folklore, the Kaipora protects fauna and flora, guiding and punishing those who harm nature, deeply connected to wild animals. A Hito no Mi model Kaipora would be a wild but fascinating possibility. Before the final turn, it's important to understand why this wouldn't be a retcon. A retcon rewrites established facts retroactively. What this theory does is fill a gap that has always been open. The missing model was never confirmed as final, the strange, full human form was never explained, and the ability in Chapter 1177 hasn't been named or justified yet. Expanding on unexplained elements without contradicting established rules isn't rewriting, it's planned storytelling. And now, the final piece, the quietest and perhaps most devastating. In the SBS of Volume 20, 2002, a reader asked Oda what would happen if a human ate the human fruit. His answer, as the expression becoming human suggests, it could mean reaching maturity or recovering one's sanity, in other words, becoming truly human. In Japanese, this carries a strong nuance of regaining sanity, returning to a natural state of consciousness. Now go back to Chapter 11.27. With a single touch, Chopper restores the sanity of a giant who had completely lost control under Imu's influence. Those giants had clearly lost their minds, intoxicated by power, disconnected from themselves, and Chopper brings one back instantly. If this is the awakening of the human fruit, the ability to influence the environment and restore sanity to others, then Oda gave the full answer in 2002 and waited over 20 years to show it in action. And per your instruction, whenever Imu is referred to, he is treated as male. His power, his control, his actions. Both possibilities coexist, and both are brilliant for different reasons. The hidden model theory leans on deep mythological symbolism. The standard fruit awakening theory relies on internal consistency and long-term setup. Maybe the truth is a fusion of both, an awakening only possible because of a divine model hidden in the name all along. But regardless of which path Oda takes, one thing is certain. Tony Chopper, the cute little reindeer with a 100-berry bounty, the plush-like mascot enemies don't take seriously, might be the most sacred and most dangerous entity in the entire Straw Hat crew. The doctor who dreams of curing every disease in the world being the very embodiment of that power at its purest form. Chopper, forest god, waiting for the moment to reveal the true name that was always missing from that label. Appreciate you watching till the end. Make sure to subscribe, leave a like, and check out this video I picked just for you.